too long, because it seems that this administration, especially from President Tinubu, he just spoke about fuel subsidy is gone at the Eagle Square on May 29 without having a holistic thought as per the impact reduction plan coming from him, perhaps days after, like what I mentioned on the program, or what I've been saying, that Nigerians have been suffering from a policy overdose because we've been hit right. Whether it's Mike Tyson that is beating us, you hit here, your jaws are filled with blood, and all of that, and there is no a policy to reduce the impact of this on Nigerians. Now, Carlo, let me ask you this question: the idea of palliatives itself.
Mm.
There's what they call palliative care in the health sector. Palliatives also, it's something that you use to treat the symptom of perhaps something that is wrong with you and not the cause of the problem. So this palliative idea, what do you think? Should we jettison the idea of palliative? Because Nigerians are not also happy with the word palliative. COVID 2020, that's COVID-19, the palliatives we saw in 2020 still leaves a sour taste in our mouth, whereby these same state governors, or some of them, are still there now. Some, okay, we have new governors. Some governors left palliatives in warehouses to rot, and we found out months later some used the idea of palliatives for political jobbers and all of that. So this idea of palliative, should we come up with perhaps a different name? Or now a name doesn't even matter?
I think the word used around the world is social security. And I think the problem is that every country has got a social security scheme or a safety net scheme for the very poor and the very vulnerable, right? So you have that net under you when you work. And then if something happens to you, the economy goes that bad, the government simply goes back to the social security scheme and says, how can we increase coverage to capture folks that are not poor, but are in a bit of a bind right now? In Nigeria, we have no social security scheme. So when we have a problem with the economy, we think of palliative, very, very short term, very, very targeted action. So the first thing to do is set up an actual social security scheme. And you can just copy what is done out abroad. Tax payrolls, or in this case, tax oil and gas, or you already are doing that, and take a portion of it and create a social safety net for the very poor, the very vulnerable. Then if we have that scheme right now and then we have this, increase in cost, you simply say, okay, we're going to expand the scope of the guys that are going to be covered for like 2 years. We're going to cover folks that are now paying more for fuel. So after 2 years, we can take a look at it and say, okay, should we take them off the register or leave them back on register? That's how it's done everywhere in the world. So you just can't have palliatives without a social security structure. That's